Have you ever thought about why the world was basically started by one man and one woman based on the Bible, right? So that basically puts us as like everybody is distant cousins. And we all different shades and everything because we all went to different parts of the world. But I've thought about it a few times like, God, why did you make us just based out of one woman and one man? Even after the flood, it was still from basically one family, from Noah's family, right? So I think God basically made us basically like all just one big family because He wants us to basically have things in common. Think about how in common you are with your family members. Y'all may have some of the same personalities, some of the same beliefs, right? You may have some of the same character traits, right? And I really think he made us a big family for a reason. You see what I'm saying? Because he wants us to be there for one another. He wants us to help one another, right? And look, believe me, I know it's not always easy to, look at someone else like they're family to you, especially when this person is mean to you for no reason. This person, you feel like this person has attacked you. But look, we all have to give each other grace. That's what my sister said. I overheard her telling my mom this. Cause my mom, she was asking her like, why you hang around this lady or whatever? Like, she don't seem like she always have your best interest at heart. And my sister, she was just like, well, look, you have to give people grace. I was just like, okay. She said you have to give people grace, and sometimes I have to give my own siblings grace. And it's true. We have to give each other grace. We have to give each other a second chance, sometimes a third chance. Now, you don't have to forget what that person did, but we still need to give each other grace, right? Because God has to give us grace. And that also goes along with how the Bible says that we reap what we sow. So, in my mind, it doesn't just apply to us giving money at church, but it can apply to money because it's just like, okay, well, say if you may need somebody to lend you a hand or maybe lend you some money or something like that or help you out with something. You see what I'm saying? They may help you financially, right? So it may be one day when they may need some type of financial help or they may need the money back that they gave you. You need to be the type of person that's not just one-sided. You know what I'm saying? We all have to actually be on the end sometimes of a giver, right? And then sometimes it's okay to not even expect anything back. You never want to be the type of person that's always expecting somebody to pay you every time you do something for them. I know everybody got a family member like this that don't ever want to help unless you paying them. Like, oh, I got a business. It don't matter about a business. Sometimes you should just be willing to give because we all, right? We all have times where we may be down. And you never know when you're going to need help from someone. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's always good to sow good seeds whenever you can. Sowing good seeds, sowing seeds of love, sowing seeds of understanding, sowing seeds of a good attitude of treating people right, sowing a good seed of doing something for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Sowing a good seed of teaching somebody something, sowing a good seed of treating somebody's child right. You know what I'm saying? Sow good seeds because one day it's gonna be time to reap a harvest. You see what I'm saying? And we shouldn't be sad when that harvest comes up because we should be mindful each and every day of self-aware of how we're coming across and how we're treating people and how we're conducting ourselves. You see what I'm saying? You know, my mama, she always say, "Oh, well, you know, saved people don't act like this. Saved people." She tells me all the time because, you know, I will. Well, I ain't gonna say it right now that I will, but in the past, in the past, I would just kind of go off. You know what I'm saying? But now, as I've gotten older, I've understood how to conduct myself more with wisdom. Even though I will, you know what I'm saying, speak up for myself. It's okay to speak up for yourself. But you still have to use a certain amount of wisdom. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we can always learn from the past. You see what I'm saying? Learn from the past of what happened and what went on. You see what I'm saying? And from those things in the past, it still should be in your mind. Just like how somebody basically gave you wisdom and instruction on something. They sowed a seed in your mind. You see what I'm saying? It's just like when I was younger and my mom, she would basically teach us every Saturday at church, like about the Bible, about God. She would, you know, my dad sometimes would pray at the kitchen table and had us to, like, you know, read the Bible with them. All of that is sowing seeds, right? They're sowing seeds of godliness. And so as I grew older, even though sometimes I may have went astray, right? The seeds that they sowed in me about God eventually started to bloom, right? So that's how powerful seeds are in somebody. You may not see a response right then. You may not see a huge harvest right away. But one day you will see a harvest. You see what I'm saying? You will see it to grow. I mean, think about how fast trees grow. It starts out really small, but eventually one day it's huge. You see what I'm saying? So we have to realize each and every day it's important to sow a good seed. Sow a good seed. I don't care if you see a change right away or not. Keep sowing good seeds, and eventually you're gonna see that thing blossom.